welcome back. Today we are doing part 2 of our content series, which is all about helping you to create content. This is an important topic for you, especially if you're a coach online, because you don't have a storefront. And so your content becomes the way that you draw customers in, the way that people find out about you, and the way that you get found online. And in last week's video, we talked about how to really come up with your big picture marketing content calendar, what types of topics to go into, how to really organize and create those topics in a way that, creates buyers essentially. And today we're going to dive deeper into the nitty-gritty details of making sure that the one piece of content gets published and you can repurpose it across, multiple platforms. We are going to be doing a workshop on October 1st, 2022. So if you're watching this after this, just go to the link. We'll see what we can do if we're going to repurpose it, or if there's another one coming up, you'll be able to get on a wait list. But we're going to hold you accountable in a workshop where you will have the opportunity to utilize the system, and you'll get everything behind the scenes, right? Not just like me explaining it to you like I am here, but actually the tools, how to organize everything, how it all looks behind the scenes. And I actually just give it to you, and then boom, you start utilizing it with us live, and you can ask any questions that are coming up for you, or we can work through anything, any topics or areas where you might feel stuck when it comes to attracting your ideal clients. In addition, after the workshop, you'll have 30 days of accountability, which are going to be huge. That way you can make sure that your content actually gets published for at least the 30 days following. So typically speaking, I like the long form content as the one piece of content for the week. And we're going to do all of the short form content or micro content, which I'm going to go into today, as all the little posts that go out throughout the week. In addition, because we have built a content library now in my business after being in business for 8 years, we also repurpose content from a lot of previous years, and it builds up a nice database so we can be showing up consistently online, even if I didn't publish a video, or even if I didn't, have enough micro content, quote unquote, to stay on schedule. And so those are the benefits of having it super organized in the system that we teach you, that we're going to give you if you join the workshop. And by the way, the workshop is like such a steal of a deal. It's $299. And right now we're doing pre-sales. So go ahead and click the link below. Hopefully you can get in on the pre-sale. Otherwise, you'll just go right into the workshop. And it's $299, such a steal, because at the end, you'll not only have 25 pieces of content, not only mapped out, the accountability, etc., but you'll have 200 pieces of micro content to go out on social media, up to 4 platforms, if not more, depending on what you want to be on. All right, so let's get back into the tactics of how this will work. So last week you planned out your major topics. Then you had, your subtopics, or like the areas that you're going to focus your content around. And then you brainstormed under those areas some headlines. So I want you to pick one of those headlines, and let's begin diving deep into actually creating that piece of content. So it's going to be the headline, right? And in the very beginning of every video, blog post, anything you're going to do, you're going to explain why it's important. Okay, this is important for you to explain to your ideal client so that they know what's in it for them to continue to watch the video. Okay, so you're going to explain why in the beginning, and then you're going to create the basic tips, right? So if it's 4 tips or 3 tips or 5 tips, you're going to go through and outline each of those now. If you need to, pause the video so you can have a little bit of time. All right. Now, once you've gone into each of the tips, now you're going to summarize the entire thing. Okay, so you're going to summarize what you just taught them and how it links to why this is important. Okay. At the end, you're going to do a call to action, or CTA. Preferably, this would be going onto your email list, joining a community that you host, or booking a call with you, whatever that may look like in your current business. And just be mindful, and I was going through this with a client yesterday, so I do want to bring this up. Be mindful of the platform you're posting on though. So we do things on Pinterest, for example. And one mistake that I made is that we were promoting a challenge, which is like a live 5-day challenge on Pinterest, which is mostly search engine optimization or search engine based, right? So someone's searching a topic and then that thing will come up. Well, they were searching the topic of my challenge, tried to sign up for the challenge, and the challenge was no longer going on. And I now had a very angry person, which is very disappointing because you worked hard to create that content to show up and to be found. And now there's a disconnect. And so be mindful of how that person will find it based on the platform that you're on. And if needed, if it's going to be a platform like Pinterest, which is mostly search-based, or a blog, which is also search-based through Google, then you're going to want to make sure you're promoting something that's evergreen that they will be able to sign up for in a future date and time. Okay. So that's something that came up on a call yesterday. I just want to make sure we touched it here. So now what happens next is the magical piece. Okay. In my case, I simply hit record on a video. I love video for your macro, your long form piece of content for the week, because you are able to have it in multiple ways to repurpose. So the video, you could repurpose the video itself. You can take clips of the video. You can get the transcript from the video and turn it into a blog. And you also get the audio versions, which can also be published onto a podcast, which is exactly what we do. Our YouTube channel, which I am so happy. We are celebrating podcast episode number 301 on Impact Driven Entrepreneur Podcast, which this will be airing on the podcast, but I'm initially recording it as a video and posting it onto YouTube. And so right there, my long form piece of content is hitting 2 platforms just because of the way that I chose to go about creating the content. And so we love video for repurposing because of that. And then the transcript of it becomes a blog post, which then gets the video embedded into the blog post, and anyone Googling can also find it. And of course, my team goes through and does the SEO research, etc. There's more that happens behind the scene in order to get it found. However, the premise still remains that you are creating one piece of content and it's going very, very far. But that's just the beginning. I feel like I'm an infomercial right now. But that's just the beginning, because now you can take, so we said we're going to do the introduction, right? And you're going to have 3 to 5 tips that you're giving, or 3 to 5 teaching topics that you're covering in the blog post or in your outline. And then you're going to do your summary and your CTA. So right there, you have 6 to 8 pieces of micro content that you can now go utilize onto various platforms. So they can become posts for social media, written posts with adding an image. They can become video clips that you can utilize as either posts again, and or reels, and or stories, right? You can see how it just completely magnetizes the content, or maximizes the content rather, when you have so many avenues to go. Okay. So at the end, right, if you have done this, 2-part training and you have outlined your 1 episode, by the end of this video, you will now have 8 pieces of micro content. So short form content. You'll also have your long form content, and you can then start posting it and getting it out there. I enjoy and really appreciate that I have a team to run this. It is exponentially easier if you work with a team, but I also understand that for some of you, hiring a team may or may not be an option that you can do. Again, that's why it's so important that you have a very streamlined, easy to follow, easy to use system so that you can do it in the least amount of time possible. We are going to be running the workshop and giving you that system. Clients have paid us over $20,000 for the system, and they then go and implement it with their teams. And we've actually done some done for you to help their team to be able to utilize the system within their business. And so we are giving you that in the workshop for only $299, which is such a steal. So click on the link below so that you can register for the workshop and get all of that for such a steal. We will also be hosting a 30-day accountability group for the month of October. It's actually 31 days, but there's going to be an accountability group to ensure that you really grow that habit of posting on a regular basis and making sure that you're actually showing up for your content. If you'd like to learn more in terms of, how to optimize for search and all of this other stuff that I've kind of interweaved here, and how to train a team to do this, all of that kind of stuff, we have our high-level group programs and our one-on-ones that would help you with that. And I'm happy to discuss those if those are something that you are interested in. So that is everything content. I hope that you found this super helpful, and I hope that you take this to heart, really realize that you can be systematic and organized and streamlined. And I want to also point out that because you have the system doesn't mean that you squash creativity. The system gives you a structure to work within so that you can be more creative. One thing that I have personally learned works for me, because I am a very creative person, is that if I'm going to be doing the repurposing or if I'm going to be doing micro content pieces, I want to have creative flexibility with it. So I might use the, tip number 2 from the blog post or whatever as the jumping off point, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to constrain myself to word by word following what I wrote in the blog post. I'm going to use that as a jumping off point for my creativity to come in. That's because I'm the creator. Obviously, if your team is doing it, they will have some creative bandwidth to do it. And, obviously with time, they're going to learn your brand, your business, etc. And they're going to be able to do that even better and better over time. But my point is, you want to have, room for creativity within the structure. And just because you have the structure doesn't mean that it obliterates the ability to create something that you're proud of, that you enjoy, that you have fun creating, all of that. So that is all about content part number 2. I look forward to seeing you inside the workshop, and I will see you there.